Hi, everyone. I'm RollingRedneck.
I'm SphincterEnvy.
And you're listening to
We Roll With It. Hello.
Hi, everyone. I'm RollingRedneck.
I'm SphincterEnvy.
And on this episode of We Roll With It, we're going to dive into a topic that will drive your family conversations to a crazy direction these holidays.
Yeah.
Religion.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah. I am bringing this topic up, well, we are, because it's almost holidays and all of our church-going relatives will be begging us to go to their churches.
Never gonna happen.
Yeah, especially for me, because none of the churches here are accessible. And we'll get into why they're not accessible.
Okay, why?
Well, in 1990, when I was born, the Americans with Disabilities Act was a big thing. Now, ironically, despite Jesus having a message of being kind to the, and I'm using the Bible's words here, the crippled, the lame, and the blind. Now, the words you'd use today, I know. But we're just going by what the actual text says.
Yeah.
Churches didn't really like the idea of having to make their churches accessible.
No.
And they demanded their own little special snowflake-ass card out. And by the way, it was not the first time they've done that. Back in the 70s, when integrating schools to disabled people was being done, churches also demanded a special snowflake carve-out.
Wow.
So that's why you see so many studies about churches being inaccessible. And there was one released at the time of this recording, too. Look it up.
That's really interesting because I've been to like a bunch of weddings and funerals and stuff. And all the ones that I've been to, they've always had ramps. So that's interesting that have you been to many that weren't accessible when you got there?
Yes. But that'll be for my segment of the religion debate, or the episode. Let's talk about your religious experience.
Experiment sounds about right.
Yeah, really.
Well, it kind of has been an experiment. I grew up in a very liberal household. I think we talked about this once, but not in depth, where my mom and my dad were both raised religious, but neither of them practiced once they had moved out of their parents' house and had become adults. And when they were raising their children, they decided not to raise them with any religion either, and let them be free thinkers and do what the hell they wanted to as far as religion was concerned.
I mentioned that I envy you.
But oh, thank you. I don't hear that a lot. But actually, some people just still do say that. But on my mom's side of my family, they're very Christian, and it comes with that. Lots of hypocrites and don't want to admit that they're just like everybody else behind closed doors. But
like the righteous gemstones?
Yeah. Oh, the righteous gemstones are much more privileged than my side of the family. But about like that, just much less privileged. But anyways, and my dad was raised Jewish, but they are a little less hypocritical, I find. But I did go to church a few times with my cousin. And that's where I learned, no, I don't like that. And I went to a black church a few times with one of my best friends from elementary school. And it was awesome. Just singing music. It's basically what it's about. Singing music, getting a good word out. I can get down with that. Not necessarily listening to what the music says, but if somebody invited me to go to church with them one day for a certain reason, if it was important to them and they were going to a black church, I could do that more than if it was a straight up Christian old fucking whatever judgy ass place. Yeah. And growing up, I actually lived next door to a church. And I didn't know this, it was Jehovah's Witness church. I didn't even know they had churches, but
well, they got to stop somewhere to get food and water while they're going around knocking on random people's doors.
Yeah, absolutely. So the preacher or pastor or whatever for that church lived behind it, and I remember the newest one had just moved in, and he had 2 kids, and they invited us to church with them one day, and me and my brother were really excited. We're like, oh, they invited us, can we go? And we went and came back and never went again. So, like, no, it's not good there either. And then I grew up in middle school. I went to a Quaker school, which was awesome. And every Friday we went to Quaker meetings, which is really fucking cool.
Yeah, I can get down with the Quakers.
Yeah, Quakers are really cool.
Oatmeal notwithstanding. Or with
and
sorry, I had to.
No, I was thinking it before you said it. And yeah, basically you have a real, like, somebody will speak on a certain topic, and then you'll have like a long moment of silence, like 5 minutes or so. And the first person who wants to talk just stands up or whatever, and they talk, and then they sit down. They can say whatever they want as long as it's respectful. And doesn't hurt,
Well, I'd be fucked.
Yeah. Probably they wouldn't like what I have to say either. But no, at a Quaker place, you'd probably be all right. Because I'm sure they are hearing all kinds of stuff these days with how unhappy people are. And there's many Quaker places around here. And, but yeah, you go to Friday meetings, and then when you're done talking, you just sit down and wait a minute, and then someone else will stand up. And they do that for like 2 hours. Maybe less, and that's probably less than that. And then after that, you go eat. So it's really cool. If I was to go to any, I would probably go to a Quaker meeting house. But other than that, what I believe, I don't know if we're covering that in this episode. Are we covering that in this episode?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, okay. I used to say that I was agnostic with atheist tendencies. I'd say I'm still that way. Or maybe I used to say I'm atheist with agnostic tendencies. But what happens when someone close to you dies, is that changes a lot of things for you. You start thinking about things in a different way. And I've had a lot of people, maybe not a lot, but 2 or 3 people that are really close to me die. And it certainly changed it. So I've always felt, that there is no God, that it's not a man, it's not as black and white as Sky Daddy, up there raining, choosing yes or no, some binary thing like that. But I know that there's something out there, whether it's nature and just science. I'm fine with that, but I know there's something bigger than ourselves. So that's how I feel about it. And I don't go to church or any meetings or anything like that now. I just don't have time. It's not that important to me. I don't see it becoming that way either. So that's my story.
I'm just trying to think of how do I phrase my story. How do I start mine?
No. Bring it.
Well, let's do a disclaimer. I respect the diversity of all people's religions as long as they respect the rights of others and don't use it as an excuse to be a douchebag to other people, or try to get the force of law to be a douchebag to other people in the name of God, Allah, Buddha, or whatever other system of beliefs they might have. Or to quote Hermes Conrad, I respect your belief system to the extent the law requires. And I don't know that there is a God. I'm fairly certain that the people who claim to speak for God are not speaking for God. So, my story is, well, from the time I was born till I was 8 years old, I went to a church that was handicap accessible. They had a ramp and everything. I could use my walker and crutches to go up the ramp and stuff. Everything in the church was on one floor. It's a pretty sane decision to make when you have a child who can't really do stairs without dad carrying him.
Yeah.
Now, something happened when I was 8 years old. I don't know what. No one in my family has thought to tell me what, or my sister. It does seem like everyone in my family knows something about what happened, but will not tell either me or my sister. The best I could ever get was that there were things going on behind the scenes that they didn't want me to know about. And, maybe that was okay when you're 9 years old. But when you start poking around in it as an adult, just answer my question. Because when I was 8 years old, my mom saw fit to transfer us to a whole different church. I'll keep nameless and for the sake of their privacy. Even though they don't really deserve it.
You're very kind.
They transferred me to a church that was not handicap accessible. To get to either the church or to the little classroom thingies, you had to go upstairs or downstairs. I was on crutches. And about 2 years in, I also had another experience involving stairs at my house where I fell down and had to go to hospital for a concussion.
Wow.
Now, Mom says the Holy Spirit compelled her to change churches.
It's a good excuse.
And I just want to say one word. Bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, no. I cannot justify almighty, all-knowing God telling someone to transfer a kid with a physical disability that impairs his ability to use stairs from a handicap-accessible church to a non-accessible church.
They were challenging you.
Yeah, and you know what? If God needs to challenge somebody to make them demonstrate their faith, I think he's not really worth serving if that's an actual challenge. Sorry. Challenging people to make them prove their loyalty to you is something domestic abusers do.
Yeah, it's a bully.
And that was honestly my first flirtation with atheism, because I just could not rationalize this.
Yeah.
Nor can I rationalize how such a move is not child abuse.
Yeah, really.
And, I'm going to get a lot of comments about this from my mother or other family members who stumble across this. But if you're taking your kid to a church that is not accessible and they have trouble walking, climbing stairs, whatever, that's fucking child abuse. You want to know why it's fucking child abuse? You want to know why?
Yeah, sure.
Because if an able-bodied person were to take an elderly family member repeatedly, often with threats of force, physical force, to a place that's not accessible for them, a place that they feel endangers their safety, they would be cited for elder abuse. They'd have elder protection services all up in their ass. So from my perspective, the same standard should apply. Fuck delusions of religious persecution. I think people should be held to the same standard, 1-to-1. I don't care what some group went through in the past. They got to be held to the same standard as everybody else.
Yeah. That's fucked up. I wish, how much, older is your sibling?
4 years.
And how long were you at that church?
From the time till I was 8-ish till about 19.
Wow. And did it ever become accessible?
Yes. But that was only after a lot of people started getting older. Which is really annoying.
Yeah, it is.
Young kids have accessibility problems. Fuck them. Old people have accessibility problems. Oh, we got to fix this right away.
Wow. They deserve to have their name said. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I want to be the bigger person.
I know. Wait. No. So, do you have any idea what year it became accessible?
Let's see. Maybe 2006?
And how old were you?
16? 15? Something like that.
So, old enough to have a voice and an opinion.
Yeah, Mom damn well knew my opinion.
And did people at church?
Some of them did.
Or did you? Yeah. I bet your mom was like, don't make a fuss. It's okay. We'll work on it. Ooh. I know.
Yeah. But the strangest part wasn't even the inaccessibility. It was the obsession with the end times. Oh, the world's coming to an end really, really soon. Be ready now. The rapture could happen any day.
Like this poor MAGA people.
Yeah, pretty much. And let's just be clear. The end times is a load of shit.
Yeah.
Now, let me just come up with let me give you a little bit of religious education since you didn't really go to an end times church, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
But the way Revelation is interpreted now was not the way it was interpreted when it was written, or even like 200, 300 years ago. See, Revelation was basically written as covert anti-Roman propaganda. But people who were writing the anti-Roman propaganda couldn't say things like, fuck Rome, because then the local Roman legionnaires and police people would have to give a shit about it. But if you make a bunch of allegorical stories about seven-headed dragons or weird marks of the beast, blah, 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 the local Roman legionnaire is not going to give a shit. He has better things to do. He's not going to try to interpret it. He's going to be like, you guys keep being weird, whatever. I got better shit to do. Because even in the olden days, people didn't like to do paperwork.
Yeah.
But what had happened was some random dude in the 1800s named John Darby came up with this whole idea of premillennialism or whatever, where everything in Revelation was literal and was imminently happening. But then, because it was bullshit, it kind of fell by the wayside. Usually only preaching like random backwoods churches in bumfuck Alabama. Sorry to all the people who live in bumfuck Alabama.
Yeah. It's probably just a marketing scheme like Valentine's.
Yes, it is. But but here's where it gets weird. It got really popular again back in the 1960s and 70s. And this is just my personal conspiracy theory. You probably see it on my blue sky. But the rapture and all this shit only became popular when corporate America was getting their asses whipped.
Who was whipping their ass?
The government. The government was saying things like, hey, you can't be putting literal shit in the river. Hey, you can't clear cut everything.
Mm.
Hey, you actually have to follow the law. And then suddenly, just by magic, a bunch of people who were in tin shack churches in bumfuck Alabama suddenly get the money for TV stations and crystal cathedrals. Now, maybe it's me, but I don't think people who go to churches in bumfuck Alabama giving their Social Security checks can raise enough money to buy a crystal cathedral and a TV station apparatus. Yeah. Somebody was funding this shit to tell people that giving the government any power to regulate corporate America would lead to Christian persecution somehow. And that's how you get end times theology as we have it today.
Well, Christians do suck.
Not all of them.
I am aware.
Yeah, I know. But we have to be clear for the viewing public.
Don't want to be a anti-Christian hater. Labeled that.
Because actually, until recently, most Christians were relatively tolerable. Like, this whole thing, it's fairly recent we got going on now. Like, yeah, there was a lot of bullshit with gay marriage and abortion or whatever, but it's never been this bad. Like, I'll give you an example of what I mean. Recently, there was a little instance with the Young Republicans convention or group saying some shit on their little social media chat that got leaked, right? Like they were saying, "I love a certain German dictator."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or I want to say insert ethnic slurs here, blah, 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 blah. Now, if I had said that crap in my church, or any of the boys in my church said that kind of crap, they wouldn't, the people around us wouldn't be saying, oh, that's just how boys talk. You know, you got to let them have their fun, blah, blah, blah. No, fuck it. I promise you that if my youth group was caught saying that shit, there would be no youth group for like 3 months. The pastor would have marched our asses to the sanctuary every Wednesday night, tell the group why we were there, why we can't have youth group, why we're not going to the big youth group event with all the other youth groups in the churches around us, because we were saying racist, bigoted, and sexually harassing shit. It's all this anti-woke stuff, or woke, whatever the fuck that means. They've bastardized it, that a lot of churches have jumped on. They're like, oh, yeah, I remember back in my church where they're saying, oh, we don't want to be the same as the culture. But now today they're saying, oh, anti-woke is fine. That's the culture.
It just means you're not a bigot. It's what woke is.
Yeah. Red and yellow, black and white.
And it's like,
we are precious in his sight. That's what my church taught me. So there is no way watching the church now, watching preachers defend this crap now, it's insane.
What they teach you.
Red and yellow, black and white, we are precious in his sight. That's the lyrics of Jesus Loves Me, one of those things.
So red and yellow, that's what?
Indian, Asian, yeah, it's very it's very antiquated song, but basically.
Yeah, I know. So we are precious in his sight, and it's that saying that he loves everyone.
Yeah, regardless of skin color.
Oh, okay.
Jesus loves the little children of the world.
Mm-hmm. Not according to the MAGA and those wonderful Christians.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah. Maybe it was all the Christian persecution delusions that have been going around in America. So they seize on whatever would give them power to prevent the supposed persecution.
I think it was white supremacy and racial inequality.
Yeah. And a lot of them people who seized on this are a lot of older people who have been, who are now facing repercussions of family reunions. Yeah.
When they see the world is changing.
Not even that. They're now hearing, oh, I'm sorry, but we're from a different time. It's not really flying anymore at the family reunion.
No, yeah. When it's like, oh my God, my girlfriend's married to my granddaughter's married to a black man. Okay, I have to be okay with this. And I was like, yes, you fucking do.
Yeah, or no, you can't be using racial slurs around my children, Grandma. So either cut the crap or you're spending Thanksgiving somewhere else.
Yeah. Yep.
So them seeing that made them seize on the first person to ever acknowledge their delusions that they're being persecuted, which was Orange Folius.
Orange what?
Orange Folius.
What? I totally missed
Orange
that.
Folius, Orange Julius.
Yes, what are you talking
Donald Trump.
about? Okay.
Yeah, they've been saying they've been persecuted for 50 years, and Donald Trump comes in saying, "Oh, I will prevent you from being persecuted."
Yeah. Like you've prevented so much.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but hearing happy holidays at the checkout line is not persecution.
No. The only thing Donald Trump has ever permitted or whatever stopped from happening was a Big Mac going to someone else. It's so awful.
Yeah.
But this is not supposed to be about politics.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. But religion and politics are very close together.
And they should not be close together.
Unfortunately, yeah, but it happens. So what else about religion?
Let's see. One thing that annoys me is the way a lot of these preachers are now talking about women. You go in the cesspit known as Twitter, you'll get all these religious leaders, the new apostolic reformation fuckery, saying shit like, repeal the 19th Amendment, women are lesser than men, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
Yeah, you know who keeps these churches going? Women. Women do all the work in these churches. My mom was a teacher in the class.
Yeah.
She was one of the people in the choir. They're the ones who do all the cleaning in the church.
Yeah, it's fucking patriarchy.
Yeah, I'm like,
If we had one time, if we had a woman president, or maybe not just one time, but it would be a very eye-opening experience. Men would not rule the country like they do.
yeah. But like,
hopefully.
Yeah, we can hope. But, you know, looking at all the work the women do in these churches and to hear preachers in social media or in the pulpit badmouth women, like, do you want your church to function? Because if a fuck ton of women just leave the church, men ain't going to do the work. Men ain't going to teach the classes. Men ain't going to do the cleaning. That's the women's work, according to them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And let me make something very clear. I've made it clear on my YouTube channel. There's no such thing as women's work or men's work. There's just shit you need to do.
Yep. And they'll talk about their daughters and wives and sisters like that. It's terrible.
Yeah, and that's how you get all this boys will be boys bullshit we're seeing now. Because it's just been getting progressively worse with a lot of people. Preachers didn't speak out 30, 40 years ago when boys were saying and doing stupid things, and they've only gotten progressively stupider because the preachers are only focused on what the girls and women are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, okay, fine, you don't want women to get pregnant at 16. My experience? Probably a good thing if they don't. I went to a public high school. I've never seen it end well. But at the same token, you gotta tell the boys you can't be going around getting women pregnant.
Yep, but they don't say that. It's just all about abstinence. But never... It's all about safe sex or no sex, but not about the end result of what happens.
And not about managing what the adults are doing. Because if you look at the studies, and I'll feel free to link them, most pregnant teenagers are impregnated by adults.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it ain't little Susie and little Tommy fucking around in the middle school stairwell. It's little Susie and the preacher's uncle.
Or the youth group leader.
But let's also be clear, that's not just exclusive to religious institutions that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. All you people saying, oh, I wish my hot female teacher or my hot teacher had sex with me when I was in high school. Fuck you.
Yeah.
But as far as my final thought on religion, I respect disabled people who want to be religious because something you got to have something to get you through the day sometimes when you're disabled.
Yeah.
But honestly, I find religious institutions irredeemable, and I think disabled people should just start their own religious institution. We're not welcome in the other religious institutions. Like the Bible says, don't go where you're not welcome. Dust off your sandals and go somewhere where you are welcome.
Yeah.
Let me find the exact verse, actually.
Okay. After you do, you reminded me about something. Someone I saw on, I think Instagram, my brother sent it to me. This really funny woman in a wheelchair. And she had posted a video to Ludacris's Stand Up song. Have you heard that song?
I don't really listen to rap music, to be honest.
Yeah, well, go stand up. Stand up. And then after that it goes, when I move, you move. Just like that. But anyways, it's really funny for a person in a wheelchair to sing to. And I've thought about it myself too. But she actually did it. It's pretty fucking funny. But at the end of it, she tied it to this other person's video saying that they manifested, or that singing music can manifest the lyrics. So, like, be careful with what you're singing, because just singing lyrics will manifest thoughts and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, kinda.
Okay. Well, okay, the point is what she said in her post. What she typed in her post, it said that, and by the way, I don't manifest, I pray. I don't believe in the universe, I believe in the one true Jesus Christ, blah, 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 blah. I was like, well, damn. So you went from being really cool and funny to, like, dissing other religions, I think. I don't believe in the universe, I believe in the... But I know she didn't necessarily say, I think, you know, other people's religion, if you do, is stupid or anything. But I just thought it was... I don't know. I am not going to follow her. I know that.
Yeah. So I found the verse. It's Matthew chapter 10, 14,
Okay.
15, or verse 14, 15. It says, if anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, shake the dust off your feet, and leave that house or town. And honestly, I think disabled people and their families need to practice that verse when it comes to these churches. They don't want us there.
Yeah.
They don't want to build ramps. They don't want to have, adaptations for disabled people who want to listen to the word or the Quran or whatever. I don't see any point in trying to fight with them. Believers should start their own church.
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, if they didn't think to have or make their church accessible before you got there, I don't know, I'd feel a certain way. It's like, oh, okay, so they didn't think about accessibility.
Yeah, because it's been 35 years.
Yeah.
And you can't say you're welcoming the crippled, the lame, and the blind. Again, Bible's words. If you're not even going to bother to have a ramp at the entrance.
No. Not only is it required by law.
Well, actually, again, they got an exemption because they're little special-ass snowflakes.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I'm opposed to any religious-based exemptions from any law.
Oh, yeah.
Bar any law that says you can't practice a religion. I'm against those too, but basically, if I, as a disabled person, have to follow a law, even though I didn't choose to be disabled, a religious person who can choose to be religious should have to follow the law. But anyway, I think we've ranted on this topic long enough. So let's choose the next topic for the next episode.
How about, this is always a fun one, I think, misconceptions. We haven't talked about that before.
Misconceptions. Is that related to miscongeniality?
Yeah. No, it's
Damn.
not. Well, it could be.
Sandra Bullock was hot in that movie.
She's
Miscongeniality.
hot in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
I know. Common misconceptions of people with disabilities would be a pretty good one.
Yeah. First misconception.
I think, yeah.
First misconception is that we want to explain our medical history to you.
I'm an attention whore, so I love that.
That depends on my mood.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially if you want your kid to come up and ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to do that with me, you got to pay me $5 babysitting fee first. And you better believe I'll request it after I'm done talking.
Yeah.
And I have. Mom was like, "RollingRedneck, what is wrong with you?" I gotta monetize this shit.
You're like, absolutely. Trying to think if there's anything else I want to say on religion.
The best thing I can say is to actually follow your religious tenet, which is to do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And that's in every religion.
Yeah. It's the golden rule. When I started at my Quaker middle school, what they do in the very beginning is you write the rules for your classroom. And pretty much all of it starts with that golden rule.
You went to a Quaker middle school. Did they ever give you oatmeal?
No.
Damn.
That was against the rules.
Sorry, I have to make the joke.
I know.
And I'm sure you've heard it already.
Oh.
The Quaker oatmeal joke.
Oh, okay, yeah. You know, the Quaker college around here is called the Fighting Quakers.
Isn't that an oxymoron?
Yes, it is. That's why it's so funny.
Anyway, we will see you all next episode when we talk about misconceptions.
Yes, and let us know what you think about common misconceptions, please. All right, bye.